නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස. May my homage to the Blessed One, the extremely enlightened one, the awakened one. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. I welcome every one of you, dear noble, devout Dhamma friends. Today also we are going to discuss a very important and valuable sutra from the Anguttara Nikaya, 3rd chapter, the sutra named Andha Chakku Sutra. In this sutra, our great teacher, Supreme Buddha, very beautifully and elaborately categorize all the masses, all the human beings in the world are into 3 groups according to the eyesight. As human beings or as any kind of beings, having eyes, it's an essential thing. Without eyes, without the eyesight, without the vision, we cannot live in the world. So, in Buddhism also, it is necessary to understand about the value of the eye and seeing. When we talk about the eye in Buddhism, we talk about there are 5 kinds of eyes. The first type of eye, Buddha known as Mansa Chakku, that means our physical eye. All sentient beings have such kind of eye to see physical things. And the second type of eye is known as Dibba Chakku. Dibba mean supernormal, psychic power. When one develops higher level of samadhi, and beyond that samadhi, one can produce that kind of eye. Mostly beings who are in the higher worlds, devas, brahmas, and ascetics who have produced panchabhinya, higher human mental states, they can have that kind of eye. So, with that they can observe things which are very far away from us, they can observe through that divine eye, that is called Dibba Chakku. And third type of eye is known as Panya Chakku. Panya Chakku means the wisdom eye. One can develop the wisdom or the Panya. So, that is why as Buddhist we mainly talk about Vipassana. Vipassana means it's a part of a word, part of a noun which added to that name in order to differentiate, in order to enhance the meaning of the word. So, Vipassana mean seeing, Passati mean seeing things, and thereby Vipassana mean the meaning of the word is to see things clearly, without any hindrances, without any objects, without any delusion or illusion. The ability of seeing everything, seeing the reality, the way as it is known as Vipassana. So, under Panya Chakku, when one has the wisdom, it's a kind of eye, then they can see things clearly. So, they have the Panya Chakku. In Buddhism, we talk about that kind of eyes also. And beyond that, there are 2 more eyes, Buddha Chakku and Samanta Chakku. Those can be achieved only by our great teacher Supreme Buddha. Other beings cannot have that eyes unless they become the Supreme Buddhas. They cannot have that kind of eye. So, with those eyes, Buddha had the supernormal powers. He could observe the world, the beyond the world, and also so much far away things, universes, galaxies he can observe. That's why Buddha, in lots of sutras, Buddha has declared about how the worlds are being into existence and how they disappear, how they appear, how they exist. Likewise, there are so many Dhamma sermons Buddha is talking about those worlds, due to that Buddha Chakku and also the Samanta Chakku. And not only that, not the physical things, but spiritually the mental processes, like Rupa mean the physicality, and the Nama mean feelings, perceptions, and consciousness, mental concomitants. So, those are mental factors. Physically we cannot observe. Even the scientists, through the science, modern technology, we cannot observe them. But with the Buddha Chakku and Samanta Chakku, our great teacher, the Supreme Buddha, has clearly observed them and revealed the nature of them to the world. So, since that, having the eye, it is very important for us to gain that eye. So, that is the purpose of this sutra. That is why Buddha, according to the visibility of the eyes, Buddha has categorized these three kinds of people in the world. So, in the sutra, it begins like that. Buddha said, Tayomi bhikkave puggala santo sangvijyamana lokasmin. Venerable monks, there are these three kinds of persons can be seen in this world. Katame tayo. What are three? Andho, ekachakku, dichakku. First one is andho, mean totally blinded one. Ekachakku mean persons who are having only one eye. Dichakku mean persons who are having both the eyes. So, those three kinds of people can be seen in this world. And Buddha goes further, Katamo cha bhikkave puggalo andho. Who is the monks who is having who has no eyes at all. Ida bhikkave ekachassa puggalassa tatha rupang chakku nahoti yatha rupena chakkuna anadigatang va bhogang adigaccheyya adigatang va bhogam phati kareyya. Buddha talking about there are some beings in the world. Physical side, if we take the physical side, physically they are not wealthy enough, they are not having wealthy life. Physically they are lacking behind of physical comforts. So, they do not know how to produce the physical wealth. They are not skilled at in that aspect, and also they do not know how to the physical wealth already they are possessing. They do not know how to improve it, how to enhance them by investing, by putting, by following a good profession, by adopting good living skills. They do not know how to develop it. So, Buddha here known as the skill as the eye. So, suppose if a man when doing things in the physical world, if he is not skilled at of doing day to day life activities, those person consider here as a blind one. Not only that, this particular person, he does not have that physical abilities, and also the Buddha goes further, Tataha rupam pissa chakku nahoti. He does not have these kinds of eyes also. Yatha rupena chakkuna kusala kusala dhamme janeya. He don't know, he doesn't know how to recognize kusala kusala dhamma. Kusala mean wholesome deeds, wholesome aspect. Akusala mean unwholesome aspect. Here Buddha mean to say this kind of people, though they already don't have the ability of producing physical wealth, and also spiritually, also mentally and psychologically also, they are not happy, and also they don't know how to enhance that happiness, because they don't know to differentiate between the wholesome side and the unwholesome side. And also savajya anavajya dhamme janeya. Savajya mean things which are having lots of faults, defects. Anavajya mean things which are faultless, without stainless, without any faults and stains. And hina panitya dhamme janeya, and they don't know about hina mean inferior things, pranita mean superior things. And also kanna sukha sappatibhage dhamme janeya, they are not aware of the kanna mean karma according to their capacity. It is categorized into three. Sukha mean white karma, that means the wholesome karma known as sukha karma, and kanna karma mean black karma, mean unwholesome activities, and grey karma is known as if there are some karmas which produce which don't produce either wholesome or unwholesome. So there are neutral karma without producing any karma. So those kinds of karma known as grey karma. So this particular person, he doesn't know none of these. He doesn't know how to recognize the good and bad, wholesome and unwholesome. Therefore, he is known as totally blinded person. His both the eye is blind. So this particular person is the one type. And Buddha goes further and said, Katamocha bhikkhave puggalo eka chakku. Who is the bhikkhu? Person who is having one eye. Ida bhikkhave ekachassa puggalassa tataha rupan chakku hoti. Here these kinds of people, they are having this ability. What is that? Yatha rupena chakkuna anadigatang va bhogam adhigaccheyya. Adhigatang va bhogam phati kareyya. He have the capacity. As a one-eyed person, he is having already physical wealth, and by putting effort, putting energy, investigation, investing in physical materialistic wealth in a proper manner, he is very skilled at earning money. The money or the wealth which he is already possessed, he know how to invest them properly, and thereby he is having a kind of eye, because he is well enjoying the physical life. But Buddha further said, Tatha rupam pissa chakkuna hoti. He doesn't have the second type of eye, Yataha rupena chakkuna kusala kusala dhamme janeya. Though he having the physical wealth, he doesn't know how to differentiate between wholesome and unwholesome deeds, kusala kusala dhamme, wholesome and unwholesome deeds. And savajya anavajya dhamme, he doesn't know about savajya mean faultful things, things which are having full of defects and faults. Anavajya mean faultless things. He don't know how to differentiate between faultful things and faultless things in the world. And hina panite dhamme janeya, he doesn't know. Hina mean inferior things in the world, and panita means superior things in the world. And kanna sukha patibhage, things which produced bright side of the world is known as sukha patibhaga. Things which produce black side or the dark side of the life is known as kanna patibhaga. So these type of person, though they having the physical wealth, they don't know about the materialistic, they know only the materialistic wealth. They don't know about the spiritualistic or mental or psychological aspects. So Buddha said about this kind of person. This is the second type of person. He is having only one eye. That means he is having the ability to maintain a good physical life. Materialistically, he is wealthy enough and he is enjoying his life, but in mentally and spiritually he is lacking behind lots of knowledges, and thereby though he physically enjoys the life, he cannot enjoy the spiritual or the mentally, because he does not have these second type of eyes. So Buddha goes further and said, Katamocha bhikkave puggalo dvichakku. Who is the person by having both the eyes? Ida bhikkave ekachchassa puggalassa tatha rupan chakku hoti. Here this kind of people, they have this kind of ability. Yataha rupena chakkuna anadigatang va bhogang adhigacchayya adhigatang va bhogang phati karayya. This kind of people here, physically also they are very clever and talent enough to earn physical materialistic gains, and the materialistic wealth that they already have, they know how to increase it, how to enhance it, how to develop it by putting the wealth by investing the wealth in a proper way. They know how to enhance the physical wealth. Therefore, they have the physical enjoyment of the life. Tatha rupam pissa chakku hoti. They have these second type of eye also. What is that? Kusala kusala dhamme janaya. They know how to differentiate between kusal and akusal. Kusala mean skillful activities, skillful actions. Akusala mean unskillful actions. They are very aware. They are very knowledge. They have the knowledge about to distinct the difference between good and bad. And savajjanavajji dhamme janaya. They are in the world some ethical and moral principles are there, and unethical and immoral principles are there. So they out of those two aspects, they know how to select ethical things out of non-ethical, and they know how to differentiate between immoral things and moral things. He goes for the moral side because he know how to find the mental happiness. To find a mental happiness, it is very important to have the vision of morality, ethical things. It's very important. So this kind of person, they are very capable from the both side. For example, the most prominent character, we can see our great teacher, the Supreme Buddha, before he entered the enlightenment as the Buddha, as Prince Siddhartha, he had a very luxurious life as a royal king, royal monarch. He had the very comfortable upbringing during the childhood. He had the most prominent physical comforts in his life, but still mentally he felt lacking something, because he observed as human beings, though he had each and every physical comforts, but still the lives are subject to ceaseless impermanence, ceaseless changing. Moment by moment we are getting aged, aging arrived to us, and sicknesses are arriving us, and finally the death will come to us. Even for the universal monarch, he cannot deviate, he cannot skip from those situations. So as a prince, as a royal prince, he had understood this unavoidable scenario. That's why he tried to find some spiritual path, by seeing the ascetic as the fourth sign, he decided to become a monk. So thereby he decided to leave behind all the physical comforts, including the living things like his beloved wife, beloved son and beloved family, and all the royal facilities and all the possessions he had left behind, and thereby he chosen the path of monkhood. He just began to beg the food from the innocent. So he thought, spiritual also, he thought that he is having some kind of spiritual well-being, and he tries to develop it not only for himself but to all of us. There are incalculable numbers of beings eradicated the defilements and become totally freed from this universal suffering, samsaric journey, and thereby they have attained the supreme bliss of Nibbana, and they have attained the maximum happiness into their lives. So that is the nature of the two-eyed persons. And Buddha goes further. There are few beautiful gathas or stanzas are there, very beautiful meanings. They gives us very beautiful insight into our lives. The first verse, it says, Nacheva bhoga tatha rupa nacha punyani kubbati. It talks about the one totally blind person. So the totally blind one, nacheva bhoga tatha rupa, he doesn't have any physical wealth. Nacha punyani kubbati, and he also not trying to do any punyani, mean wholesome activities, virtues. He doesn't know. He don't try to even do wholesome activities. And ubhayatta kaliggaho andassa hata chakkuna. His both world is totally dark. Both the worlds mean in here the present world also he is suffering because he is not having enough physical wealth, and also once he dies and after the death, in the next lives, in the next existences, in there also he suffers a lot because he is not trying to at least to do any virtues or merits here, because that is why being born as a poor unwealthy person, it is not a matter. If we know how to enhance the physical quality by giving alms, by observing sila, by practicing samadhi, by practicing loving kindness, compassion, and by practicing mudita, mean altruistic joy, and by practicing upekha, mean equanimity to all the beings. So those are the factors that will produce you the physical wealth as well as the spiritual wealth also. So being born as a poor human being, it doesn't matter if you know the Dhamma well. By knowing Dhamma means you have the capacity of correcting your both the aspects, both physical and mental side. So this particular person, he is physically also not experiencing any happiness because he doesn't have enough wealth, and also he doesn't know how to improve the mental well-being because he doesn't have any knowledge of the Dhamma. So therefore he suffers this life also and as well as in the future lives also. Athaparayang akkhato ekachakkucha puggalo. Here Buddha talk about the one-eyed person. Dhamma dhammena sasato bhogani pariyesati. Not like the first one. The second one, he is very capable, he is very cunning, and he is very skillful at earning lots of money. Dhamma dhammena, he use methods which are which are accepted as justifiable and injustifiable. He earns money by using wholesome ways and also unwholesome ways. He doesn't care about the way of earning money. He only thinks about the money and the wealth. He don't care about the wholesome and the unwholesome, the faultfulness or the faultlessness. He thinks about only the money. So this type of people also we can see in the world. They are having the physical wealth, but spiritually, mentally, they are not having a good heart. They are having a good body, but they doesn't have wholesome mind. So we can see lots of people are there in the world. So the nature of these kinds of people, dadati setta sankappo avyagga manaso naro upeti bhaddhakantanang yatta gantva na sochati. So so this first type of people, they are suffering, as I said, they suffer this world as well as in the future world. The second type of person, they are suffering only, this life they are having kind of a little enjoyment, physically they are wealthy enough, no, and in the future lives they have to suffer a lot. So the Buddha further said, Teyyena Kuta Kammena Musavadena Vubhaya. They are earning money. Teyyena mean they to earn money. Sometimes they steal, they do stealing. So they don't have any fear to steal. And Kuta Kammena, by fraudulent ways they earn money. And Musavadena Vubhayam, telling lies is not matter for him. I mean the second type person who is having only one eye, they think about the physical wealth, no, so they always going behind the physical well-being. They are kusalo hoti sanghatum, they are very skillful at earning physical wealth. Kama bhogi cha mano, kama bhogi mean they are having the sensual pleasures, sensually they are enjoying. Ito so niryangantva eka chakku vihanyati, but after this lives, after the death, in the future lives they have to suffer a lot, because they thought only about the physical wealth, they haven't thought about the mental well-being. Therefore, after lives they have to suffer. Dvichakku pana akkhato settho purisa puggalo, the person who is having the both the eye, they are the greatest of all three categories. The persons who are having the both eye, they are considered as the best out of three. Dhamma laddehi bhogehi uttanadi gatang dhanam. Dhamma laddehi bhogehi, he also earning money, but in a justifiable way, according to the dharma principle, in ethical ways, and with morality he earns money. Dadati setta sankappo avyagamanaso naro, so he gives alms, he is practicing donation, he is practicing giving, and he is having setta sankappo, his mind is having a wholesome concepts in his mind. Avyagga manaso naro, and he having a vyagga mean with full of faults and defects, but his mind is avyagga, mean he doesn't have any faults, it's a clean mind. Upeti baddha kantahanam yatta gantva na sochati, he earns the well-being, both the places, both in this lives as well as in the future lives. Yatta gantva na sochati, he doesn't worry in these lives as well as when he goes to the further lives, further existences, future existences, in there also he doesn't regret, he is enjoying his life. Andancha ekachakkuncha araka parivajjaya, especially the persons who are having only one eye and person who are having no eyes, araka parivajjaya, we have to keep away from being associated with them, it's a danger to us. Dvichakkum pana seveta settam purisa puggalo, finally Buddha asked, we should try to associate with two-eyed persons. Two-eyed persons mean those who thinks about physical wealth in an ethical and humane way, and also the mental wealth according to Dhamma. So those are known as in Buddhism Kalyana Mittas. So it's important to try to improve the association of the Kalyana Mittas and try to being away, try to give up the association of the Papa Mitta, mean unwholesome friends. So this is the important lessons that can be gained through this sutra. So in Buddhism, these three types of people are available in the world, Buddha said. So as Buddhist, it is very important for us to know Dhamma and to produce our Dhamma Chakku. That means this Dhamma is not only for the enlightenment, it gives us some insights in order to live a good physical wealth, without having enough physical wealth, we cannot have a happy life in this life, within this life. And there are some ways and means Buddha taught in order to enhance our physical well-being. There are some 4 basic things. One is called Utthana Sampada. Utthana mean when we are living in the physical world, as laity, we have to be very hard, we have to be very determined while performing a job or kind of a thing. And Arakka Sampada, that means the things which we have earned through justifiable ways and means, we have to taken care of the wealth, that is called Arakka Sampada. And also Kalyana Mittata, we have to associate with noble friends, Kalyana Mitta. Also very important thing is to Samajivikata. We must know Samajivikata mean, according to our capacity. If we consider about the physical wealth, person to person, it's differ, and persons who are having less amount of physical wealth, they should be careful about the expenses of him. Without having less amount of money, if he expends more money, expend money unnecessarily, then he has to imbalance, his life will be imbalanced, and therefore he has to suffer physically. So as Buddhist, that's why I said Buddha asked us to, as laity, we have to follow these 4 basic principles. Not only that, we have to think about the spiritual side also. That is why Buddha asked us to practice about Noble Eightfold Path. Under Noble Eightfold Path, right view is most essential thing. Right view is, in Pali it is known as Sammaditthi. Sammaditthi, there are 2 ways of Sammaditthi. It is kind of 2 folds. One is called Laukika Sammaditthi, that means Laukika mean worldly, right view mean conventionally, right discernment, right view. And the second type is known as Lokottara Sammaditthi. Lokottara mean it's a beyond world, Sammaditthi mean right view. So to have the second type of Lokottara or the beyond world right view, first hand you must have the conventional right view. So those who have understood the ultimate right view or the Lokottara Sammaditthi, they are known as Aryas or the Sekas. That means they are already achieved some level of the enlightenment, but still they have to go some distance in the path. Ultimately they are definitely, they will attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana one day. So to have that kind of fortune, it is important for you to have the basics, like those qualities, those abilities are known in the Buddhism. Utturu minis Dham. Utturu mean higher, minis mean human, Dham mean qualities. Those are known as higher human qualities. So just think, beforehand, if you want to get the higher human qualities, it is very important to have the human qualities. That is why Buddha under conventional right view, there are 10 factors we should practice. Atti Dinnang, the first one is Atti Dinnang. As the first step, we must practice giving. That is why in Sri Lanka, mostly Buddhist, they like to donate things. They are during the Vesak month and most of the poor days, people are practicing giving. They are conducting ceremonies, those are known as Dhansal. That means they are freely producing, freely donating, freely giving, so many things, food, clothes, food and drinks, lots of things they are offering, they are donating. So because they are practicing Atti Dinnang, they know, it's a good kind of it's a right thing, it's a ethical thing to do. It will increase their human qualities. So that's why giving is a essential part. And the second step, it says atti yittang, that means if you give more things, you will receive more. Though Buddha said, there are three karmas we can perform through mentally, through verbally, and through physically. Out of three, the most powerful faculty is the mind. From mind we can do much of the virtues and wholesome deeds, but though it said in the ultimate truth, but to before touch the mind, before deal with the mind, physically we have to be practice wholesome qualities. That's why if you give more things with pure intentions, you will get more things. If you give less things with pure intention, you will get the less things, you will receive less things in return back. That's why these differences are available in the human world. If we take a village, in that village there are some good hearted human beings available, but they are having not much wealth. There are some human beings available, they are having the good heart and mind, and also they are very wealthy enough. That is because they in previous life they have given lots of things. So in present lives they are getting lots of things. That's why it is important to understand the value of giving, and also when you give more things, you will receive more things. And the third type, atti hutang. Atti hutang means to become a good human being, it is very important to identify the high quality people in the world. Like that means, suppose your parents, your elders, your teachers, and your elder brothers and sisters, they are they are superior than us, they are higher than us, at least by the age. So we have to respect them. And the people who are finding the spiritualistic way, they don't disturb to anyone. So it's important factor to respect them. That's why as laity they worship the monks, thereby they are giving the respect. In the normal world also there is a saying, give respect and take respect. If one needs to have the respect, he has to respect. So this is the part of the becoming a good human being. It's a part of the conventional truth. And the fourth step is known as atti sukata dukkatanam kammanam palang vipako. That means we must have the knowledge, when we perform wholesome karma, we will receive wholesome vipakas, or the wholesome consequences. And if we perform bad karma, unwholesome karma, accordingly we will get the unwholesome vipaka or the bad consequences. So that's kind of a knowledge. That's the fourth step. And also atti mata atti pita, that means as Buddhist, it's important to taken care of our parents, both the mother and the father. It's very important. There are greater sins, those are known as pancha anantariya papa karma, the greater unwholesome deeds. There are 5. So out of those 5 sins, 2 is about parents. If one kills he or her own mother and father, that will be a great sin. In the second life, in the next lives, he will be directly be born in the lowest hell in the world. So that kind of a effect we having from our parents. So that's why it's very important taken care of the mother and the parent. And when you look after your parents in a good manner, you will receive much merits, much virtues into our lives. There are some people we can see in the world, they are kindly and very respectfully they are taken care of their parents. Due to that higher level of virtues, it will make their lives happy, because it produces much merits and virtues. So that's why by taking care of your parents, you will automatically you will become a good human being. That is also comes under the conventional truth. And atti ayang loko atti paro loko, that means as human beings, as Buddhists, it's important to know about this world as well as there are some other worlds which we cannot see through our physical life. Scientifically also it is proven that there are some worlds are there in the most distant galaxies. They have found new stars like our sun, and those stars, around those stars there are more planets, some are equal to the earth. So definitely there should be beings on those planets, that we cannot deny those claims. So similarly, and if we have learned about in scientific ways, there are some findings, there are some worlds, there are some beings live within us, we cannot observe because our spectrum of eyesight is limited. So beyond that limitations, there can be some beings even here right now within us, but through our physical life we cannot observe. So there are some parallel worlds are there, we cannot see. That is why the Buddha said atti ayang loko atti paro loko. There are some we should know about this world as well as there are some other worlds also. That is why people who perform wholesome activities in these lives, they will be born in the wholesome worlds, and people who are practicing unwholesome practices, they will be born in the worlds like hells. So that is why we need to understand the nature of the other worlds also. And the next factor is known about Upapatika, Atti Satta Upapatika. That means there are some beings in normal, as a human being, when you are born to this world, it's our normal scenario, normal tendency to we have to spend at least 10 months in the womb of the mother, and then we have to be born. And there are some beings they born to this world, they have to inside the eggshell for a quite number of time, and they have to be born again. But in Buddhism it says Upapatika, there are some beings, they are appeared to this world spontaneously. Those who perform good deeds in this life, if he happen to be born in the celestial worlds, they will born to those worlds spontaneously. They don't have to wait inside the mother's womb or any kind of egg like that. They don't want to wait there like that. They are then and there suddenly, once they finish this life, all of a sudden they will be born into those worlds. And those who perform unwholesome deeds or the bad karmas, they will be born in the hells. The hell beings also having the birth like that, spontaneously they will be born like that. There is no time differences between. Once the death is there in this life, all of a sudden they will go to the next life cell, they will be born in those realms. So that is not a thing to believe, but if you go through the teachings, you can experience that one. And also finally, from time to time, the superhuman beings like the supreme teacher Buddha appear to this world, and they are finding the ultimate truth of the world and reveal to the masses for the ending of all the sufferings. So if you carefully consider about Buddhism, the most important thing in Buddhism is to find the most the prominent happiness in the world. If you find the happiness, the epitome of happiness you can find only when you achieve the enlightenment. So Buddha appears to world because Why? As I in the beginning I told you, as Prince Siddhartha, he had the ability to control the whole human globe. He was known as Sakwiti Raja. Sakwiti mean universal, Raja mean monarch. If he didn't become the Buddha, he had to become universal monarch. Thereby he must had luxurious life, but though he had such a luxurious and wealthy life, comfortable life, he cannot escape from unavoidable scenarios like aging, sicknesses, and finally the death. We cannot avoid. So it's the Prince Siddhartha as a Bodhisattva, he knew those scenarios like a fire. If you see the fire in the world, and there are some ways and means to douse or extinguish the fire. We use fire extinguishers and we use water to douse the fire. Similarly, the fire of aging and fire of sicknesses and fire of the death, the Prince Siddhartha as Bodhisattva, he thought there has to be some means and ways in order to douse these fire of aging and sicknesses and death. So thereby he tried to investigate, tried to he very encourageously he find the way out of these problems, universal problems. That is why when with the understanding of the enlightenment, he understood the true nature of the whole world, every component things, he understood the true nature, and he declared to the world in 3 steps. The first one is called anicca, that means every component things are impermanence, and the second truth is known as dukkha. Dukkha means everything, in mostly in it translated into English as suffering, but it does not give the exact meaning of dukkha. Some people say discontentedness and unsatisfactoriness. There are lots of meaning, but the mainly we should understand the dukkha, and also the finally, because things are impermanent and dukkha, so thereby everything are anatta, anatma. Anatta mean since every component things including myself, my inside body, my inside mind, and all things which are external to me, all those internal and external factors having the nature of impermanence and also the nature of dukkha, and thereby they are anatta mean. So at the time when we don't know about dharma, we consider myself as myself, me, mine, and my soul. But when one can understand these Dhamma, we could see that clearly. We can experience that there is nothing called me, mine, or as my soul, because everything is impermanent and suffering, or the dukkha, and non-self. There can be nothing taken as mine or as my soul. If you go a little bit deeper, you carefully think about your body, and at this moment, by seeing, by touching our body, we can feel that no, this is mine, this is my body. But just imagine, after some time, after 10 to 20 years, most probably after 80 to 100 years, this body will not belongs to us, this belongs to the earth. Then how it happens? At a time this body belongs to us, after 80 to 100 years, this body won't belongs to us. So then we can understand this body, actually the reality of the body is it's not ours, it's not mine, it's not me, it's not you. You can carefully contemplate in this manner, in that way. And also when you think about your mental objects, like as a spiritual, if we want to find the spiritual well-being, we need to understand the reality of the spiritual mentality. So there also we can observe that there is everything suffering, and changing. So thereby we cannot see anything, we cannot take anything as me, mine or my soul. That is the nature of the the person who have produced the wisdom mind. So thereby he can see the world clearly. So these are known as the two-eyed persons. So this noble Dhamma is for to create that two-eyed persons. Two-eyed persons are the ones who are really enjoying the life. So as Buddhist, our ultimate goal is to become a two-eyed one. So with that, times are flying, times are passing. So we have come to the end of this Dhamma sermon, and if you have gained anything, any virtues, any merits through this Dhamma dana, we all wish for all the beings who are trying to find happiness both physically and mentally, may they be able to achieve those happiness with all these merits. And especially I would like to remind my teachers and the people who have attended for this Dhamma discussion, and all the celestial beings, human beings and all the beings may partake all these merits, and may everyone become enlightened and be happy, be well. For I would like to finally bless you for everyone with infinite noble triple gems. Abhivadana Silissa Niccang Vaddha Pachayino Chattaro Dhamma Vaddhanti Ayuvanno Sukhang Balang Ayuarogya Sampatti Sagga Sampatti Mevacha Atho Nibbana Sampatti Iminate Samijjatu.